Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Today we have a very special guest, Lindsay Kiesler, President and CEO of the Chamber of Catawba County. Lindsay was on the show last year to talk about what the Chamber does, so if you want to know more about that, please listen on episode 13 and you'll learn a lot more about what she does and what the Chamber is all about. Today we're going to talk to Lindsay about what the Chamber is doing to help business and the community overall in the wake of COVID-19, so let's get started. So, Lindsay, thank you for being here today and talking to us a little bit.
Mike, thank you for having me. It's always a privilege and a pleasure. Also, it's great working with you both as a chamber partner and also as one of my bosses, being on our board of directors. So I really appreciate your investment from a treasurer perspective, right? Giving financially to advance the mission of the chamber, but also from your time and your expertise that you've been giving. So thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. And I appreciate the opportunity to serve. And I never really thought of myself as a boss. So at least from that standpoint. So
Yeah.
that's pretty funny. But anyway, so again, thanks again for coming on. And we'll kind of just kick things off. What's the Chamber been doing to help support business as we have been dealing with COVID-19?
Thank you, Mike. This has certainly been an unprecedented time since March that our local businesses have had to endure. I have been encouraged and have been full of hope in seeing how quick businesses have reacted and pivoted. But it has definitely been a challenge. And right out of the gate, nobody has a playbook, right? Nobody's been through this before, and certainly our organization has not seen a challenge like this. But sometimes my philosophy is, even if you don't know all the answers, you've got to continue to push forward. And really, I considered our role in this as a true privilege, because when businesses didn't had information bombarding them all at once, I felt like we were well positioned to sort of rise above all the noise and help distill information and put it out there in a very digestible, tangible way, to ensure that businesses receive the most valuable and relevant information to help navigate through this crisis. So like you said, right out of the gate, we served as, really, I called it a triage office in a business triage.
Yeah.
Because we had, I can't tell you how many countless conversations of both chamber members and non-members who just needed to know the answers in order to help move forward, help adapt their strategies. As you know, in the first several weeks, the situation evolved hourly, and we were trying to determine what's the right information, what is the regulation that's being pushed down, and then how can we in turn turn that information and make it valuable for businesses to know what to do. We connected business with immediate assistance through our partners with the SBTDC and also the Small Business Center at CBCC. We created a COVID-19 page that was centrally located, still is, on our website. So if you go to catawbachamber.org/COVID-19, we, again, making sure that information is very succinct, sorted to where individuals can easily find the information they need, from what is the latest executive order from the governor, to what do I do about unemployment insurance, and all the other employment law changes that came down from the state and federal level, to webinar recordings. So again, another form of communicating that information was through a webinar series that we called COVID-19 in Your Business. And so if you weren't able to attend those webinars live, we recorded all of them, and that is now on that COVID page as well. So in addition to all of these things to assist and come alongside of our business partners, at the same time, we had to look at ourselves and pivot our strategies because, what does a virtual chamber look like? And so we really pivoted and shifted and changed to where now we're meeting, our partners in a very digital space versus physical, and trying to also communicate content, both how businesses are adapting through our Small Business Innovator series, our new Facebook Live Q&A that we've been doing, in addition to pulling together some Zoom meetings to help business owners connect in the virtual world. So a lot has been happening, a lot has transpired, and ultimately, it's truly been a privilege to fill that gap on behalf of our business community.
And I think we're really fortunate that you guys have kind of taken that mantle as well, because I feel like I don't think anyone, I mean, everybody, there's a lot of people that have stepped up, but I feel like you guys are really taking the ball with this and been at least, and maybe I'm biased because I'm a chamber member and on the board and everything, but, I'm using the information that you guys are providing to help kind of keep my people informed, my agents, and even the public informed. And so you guys have just done a great job of that. So not that, I don't want to shamelessly, throw more compliments at you, but seriously, it's been really, really good. And I think the chamber's response has been excellent to this and has been really, really helpful for everything. One of the things you guys did was put out an impact survey to members and businesses in the community. And what kind of things came out of that maybe are relevant to kind of what we're doing today and kind of how we move forward?
Sure, Mike, thank you. In order for us to respond in a valuable way, we wanted to make sure that we were asking the right questions. And normally we would do that in face-to-face interactions, but we wanted to receive an accurate sampling of the business community as a whole, understand the challenges that they're facing, understand what impacts they are experiencing as a direct result of COVID-19, and then customize or tailor our response and our assistance to meet those needs. And so to your point, we partnered with the Catawba County Economic Development Corporation to put this out. So all businesses of all sizes, all sectors were surveyed. Some of the questions we asked were around employment levels, revenue levels, how they changed year over year as a result of COVID-19. In addition, more confidence levels. So how do you feel that will you survive this? Are you worried about the impacts? And then other things like supply chain disruption, we asked questions on. And then finally, some questions around how can we help? How do you see your local economic development partners coming alongside of you and assisting you? So a couple things out of that I want to emphasize. We have definitely heard from businesses that are extremely concerned about the sustainability beyond this crisis. Most of it is in terms of cash, right? Because of not having customers or having significantly less customers. But the majority are saying they are experiencing impacts and they're worried about those impacts, but they will come through this and they will survive. And actually 86.5% of those respondents all said that same thing, that they're worried, they have experienced impacts, but they will pass, this will pass and they will come out on the other side. So for me, that was overwhelmingly positive and made me hopeful that, in terms of sustainability of local business. We have something else that's very significant. We won't know the exact numbers until the beginning of June, actually, in terms of unemployment. We have our local communities experienced thousands of layoffs, most of which have been indicated by business that they are temporary. So hoping that as commerce continues to pick up over the next several weeks, that people will be called back. We have heard reports over the last 2 weeks of a lot of our industry partners who did experience some layoffs that are now restaffing and ramping back up production. So that's in my opinion, very concerning and something we need to make sure that we are addressing. But on the other side, knowing that hopefully the majority are temporary, and as the economy begins to continue to open up, then those people will receive their jobs back.
Were there any what businesses seem to be the ones that appear to be impacted the harshest, I guess, through this? Not to single anyone out, but I would imagine like the restaurant business, I think, is probably kind of taking it on the chin as much as anybody else. So what other businesses I think are struggling, and this and I bring it out not to point out that they're struggling, but for the public to keep in mind, so that when things open up a little bit more, when they can support these businesses, to really go all in to try and help them when this is all done.
Yes, Mike, I'm noticing food, beverage, and hospitality industry, also accommodations and lodging. Those industries, personal care, so our salons, fitness facilities. So those that were required to close first and are being mandated to remain closed the longest, they have definitely, you could say arguably been hit most significantly by COVID-19. You also have, in retail, certainly small business retail has seen it. I've seen many of them pivot to e-commerce and utilizing social media to continue to promote their products and services. But still, I know that they would affirm that they've seen some significant change in their revenue year over year.
Foot traffic still
That's
still
right.
matters with businesses like that. So
Absolutely. Anything that's consumer facing that does rely on customers and does not fully rely on e-commerce, those have been the industries that I've seen both backed up with data, but also anecdotally, who have received the most significant impacts. And to your point, Mike, yes, thank you for noting that. It's not to say to single them out, but simply to remind everybody that once we are able to go patronize them, that we need to do the best of our ability to assist them and to think local first. That's been another message that we've tried to perpetuate and encourage others to help share that message, is support local everything. If you're looking for a certain service or a certain widget, consider local first before you go outside of our community.
that's good. And tagging on to that and kind of looking ahead, what's the chamber doing to help business kind of get started? So I think you guys have some initiatives coming up to kind of help put people in a good position, so that when we do start opening up and with some guidelines and stuff, what kind of things are you guys doing to help facilitate that for businesses?
Yes, Mike, good point. Like you said, we want to react in the immediate, but we are also constantly looking ahead. And so this organization, we call ourselves conveners and collaborators for a reason. So bringing together the right influence, resources, and thought leadership to get things done on behalf of business. And so over the past 4 weeks, we've convened a recovery task force. And so that includes representatives from local business, also our education community, and our local government entities to come together, identify what are the barriers for recovery, from a talent workforce perspective, other business challenges, and even addressing challenges for individuals and families. What are those barriers? And then reversely, how can we create strategies to help expedite recovery with those specific areas in mind? we have identified things like unemployment insurance benefits that have proven to be a barrier in some cases for returning to work for individuals. Also, childcare issues. So with schools being closed and parents having to not only, work their day jobs, but also help homeschool their children. And then things like summer camps and other childcare centers who either aren't opening or they have delayed opening. How can we help mitigate those challenges looking ahead? Same with talent development opportunities. So with our universities, how is it going to impact our students coming back into town? Our community college, how is it going to impact this crisis? Going to impact enrollment in the future, and other needs for businesses. I think of if you think of the future of work, we already had employers that were transitioning into utilizing automation and robotics in their facilities. Will they expedite those efforts? Because machines or robots don't get sick, right? So then how can we ensure that the individuals who occupy those positions now can upskill or reskill themselves in order to acquire positions that require more a higher level skill set, more technical skill set? So looking ahead and ensuring that at our community college, we have training in place to help upskill and reskill those individuals into higher paying, more technical positions. So those are some of the just a overview of the priorities we've identified. And then again, now we're working at putting together strategies to address those. The other thing, though, Mike, and this is a big issue, is consumer confidence and reducing fear. So we all know that this has been a serious crisis. I mean, this virus, it spreads rapidly, and we have flattened the curve locally. Catawba County, our cases have certainly been relatively low compared to other areas across the state, but it's still a real issue, and it's still a public health crisis that we need to ensure that the spread doesn't continue and the curve continues to be flat moving forward. So both from a public health perspective, ensuring the health and well-being of our general public, but also on the other side is the reducing fear, the fear complex of helping individuals ensure that businesses are taking the right steps to ensure their safety so they can resume local spending and they can come out of their house and then enjoy their community and patronize local businesses. So with that, we've put together what we call an open and safe campaign. And businesses will have the ability to utilize certain guidelines that we have pulled from state, federal resources, CDC guidelines, North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, on ways that they can reopen safely. Protocol they can put in place from sanitation to social distancing that will help ensure the safety of both their employees and their customers. And then also tying that to a commitment. So asking businesses, here's your playbook, but do you commit to taking the steps necessary to implement these best practices in your business? And if so, sign on and commit to this promise. And once they sign on, they then have access to utilizing the open and safe brand and using it as visual reinforcement to their employees and customers that they are taking this very seriously and taking the steps necessary to keep them safe. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is that something that's available that I can share with people through a link from this after the fact, or is that?
Absolutely. I can.
I know I saw it, but I wasn't sure if it was something that I saw like.
No, we're
or it was pre-work or if it's been released.
We are still in sort of the pre-work, final stages of the pre-work. Our goal is to have everything released by next Wednesday, to have everything rolled out. So we're in the process of creating some vinyl decals, some stickers, even some yard signs that businesses can order through us.
Okay.
And again, use those as visual reinforcements to their employees and customers. We're excited about it. We feel it could be a really impactful local initiative that can be widely accepted across the entire county.
I think it's great. And again, like I think it takes, hopefully it maybe takes a little bit of that fear factor away, like you said, so people feel okay, like, hey, if this business says that, they're committing to do these things, then I'm going to feel more safe going there. And I think that's super important for everybody. So what I'll do is in the show notes, what I'll do is link to the COVID page at least. And then I'm sure as things open up a little bit more, then that of things that you can share publicly, then it'll be on there, and I would encourage people to go there. So
we're working on creating a web page like on our website.
Okay.
That would have all the downloadable playbook, also the link to the open and safe commitment, so make it an online form. And then there will also, as a part of that page, we'll have a listing of businesses who have made the open and safe commitment. So we're looking at 2 levels of support. So the first one being like no barrier to entry, so no cost. And that's just simply making that commitment, and you receive certain things in return, like a digital poster that they can print out on their own and post in their business. And then like a level 2 could be access. If you pay a flat rate, and you can have access to purchasing the collateral at cost. So decals and stickers and yard signs and things like that.
Okay. No, that's great. I think it's super to do that. And again, just proves how much value that the chamber offers its members, and even the non-members that are part of the community. Hopefully they'll see the value in it if they're not members already, that they need to be. So we're going to kind of, since I feel like we've been like super serious for most of this, but so I'd like to kind of like lighten the mood a little bit. And normally I do like a 10 questions thing at the end of the show where we talk about where, like things like people, where you like to go on vacation, and all the different stores and restaurants people go to. And I don't want to make anybody feel bad for not being able to go to those places. So I kind of changed it up a little bit. So I have like just a few other questions to kind of see how people have been dealing with things in a post-COVID-19 world. So if you got a couple minutes, we'll kind of go through these and talk, and then we'll kind of wrap up. So so what has been your go-to takeout place since all this has started?
Awesome. Every Tuesday in our house, it's Takeout Tuesday.
Okay.
And so each week we have patronized a different business. So, and we've always choose independently owned and local first, but we've had a lot of fun with that.
Awesome. That's really good. Yeah, I think I said on my last one, we did end up with Da Vinci's, the chicken parm sub, but my other one, another one that we've ended up with quite a bit is Wild Walk, also the one on 127.
Awesome.
And and it's kind of close to the house, so that's another one that's been kind of a go-to for us. And again, there's so many out there. I don't want to single anyone out, but just kind of talking about kind of all the different things, all the different options we have. Just in that one complex, there's a lot of restaurants, so it's kind of handy that I live near there.
That's right.
What's become your favorite comfort food in the last couple months?
All right, so quarantine snacks, we definitely have plenty of them. And also, Emily, who works at the chamber, reminded us one week during our random trivia, we brainstorm random trivia at the end of our staff meetings, that the average human goes to their refrigerator 22 times in a day. And so maybe during quarantine it's been more, but my favorite quarantine go-to snack has been the extra toasty Cheez-Its.
Okay, excellent. We ended up, since I'm like, I really like coffee quite a bit, and I spend quite a bit of money at Starbucks on coffee and Tasteful Beans and any of the local places that we've got too. But I I always seem to have a cup of coffee in my hand, and that kind of has been a little bit off. So we ended up buying one of those Nespresso machines.
Oh
And
man,
so, and I don't know
jealous.
if you ever like saw the episode of The Office where they bought one for the office and like people keep drinking it. So like, I'm like, yeah, kind of like probably overdoing the coffee quite a bit, but that's been pretty addictive and they have all these different flavors and levels of how much caffeine is in there. And so, no lack of energy, I guess, through all this because I've been enjoying my Nespresso machine. So,
And Mike, I'll say too, I along with Takeout Tuesday, on Tuesday and Thursdays are my 2 days where I leave the house and go get my coffee at a local shop. And so I've um, been sharing the love between Cade's Coffee Truck.
okay.
If you've ever had Cade,
Yes.
they've been in Conover at Conover Hardware on Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. So
Okay.
there, or Narrow Coffee and Nosh in downtown Newton is my
Okay.
other go-to. And then Tasteful Beans
Yeah.
is I've been missing Julie and Scott, and so I try to make the rounds.
And they've been offering other different foods and stuff too in there, which they've kind of expanded their offerings. A little bit. So that's kind of exciting that that they're doing that. And like I said, hopefully, you don't want to take anything away from people, but at the same time, try not to go out as much. So that's been
That's
my
right.
little. So anyway, so what is a TV series that you've been binge watched recently?
Oh, embarrassingly enough, yes. So I did do the Tiger King.
Okay.
I watched the whole series there.
I'm like, I'm like kind of like refuse. I feel like I need to like
You've got
refuse
to
to
do it.
watch it just because it's like so many
You
people are watching it.
you can't unwatch it for sure, but you've got
Yeah,
to watch it. Super
yeah,
fascinating.
I'm sure I
The one
will.
that I really enjoyed was Outer Banks. I
Okay.
watched I watched the entire season of Outer Banks, and really really neat, especially that since it's North Carolina. But and also, if you didn't know, one of the characters actually graduated from St. Stephen's High School, so there's a local some local talent on there as well. But
Okay.
that was good. Highly recommended.
One I liked also was if you like cars, there's one called Formula One, and it basically chronicles a Formula One team. I guess, or so, like each week, I guess, there's an episode, but they release them all together for some reason. So they have 2 seasons, and just the visuals on that, like how it's like taped and the sound, like if you've got a surround system, and they do such a good job of like making you feel like you're there and actually giving you somebody to root for because like for the longest time it's like I mean this is really neat and they show these like wonderful vistas of Monaco and all the boats and
Wow.
like that's really cool but you never I don't really know anything about any of these drivers or anything so like now I've got like drivers that I like because of the show and
Awesome.
um not that I needed another sporting series to root for or spend time on, but that's actually a really good show. It's really well done and well produced, and
Well, it's
even if
probably,
even if you don't like racing, it's good.
Mike, it's probably better than watching them play video game racing. Like
Yes,
I haven't gotten into that. My husband
I
watches it,
tried.
and I'm just the thought of watching them play video games like it's a live race is just doesn't connect with me.
No,
Doesn't connect.
it,
But
it's hard. I mean, they're doing it with like NBA 2K, like where like they're doing like they've like virtually finished the season. So we kind of like we're bummed that the Hornets, like they. I don't still don't know what they're going to do with the rest of the NBA, but but
yeah,
someone virtually like finished the season and they put it on, some kind of broadcast or whatever where you could watch the virtual games that you didn't get to really see. That was kind of weird too. But I think it's cool though to try and do anything you can do
that's
innovatively
right.
to kind of bring
That's
it
right.
back. So I think it's all good.
Making
Um,
lemonade out of lemons. So
yeah. So after this is all over, what's the first store or restaurant that you want to go to after everything's lifted?
okay, so I think honestly, I'm just looking forward to face-to-face interaction versus purchasing something off a Facebook feed or off of a website, or ordering through an online app. I'm just looking forward to being able to sit inside a restaurant or on a patio or walk into a store to see those individuals that really make up those businesses. That's the other cool thing about working at the chamber is you don't just think of a business as a business, you think of the people behind the business, because you really get to build relationships with them. So not necessarily a specific answer, but I'm just looking forward to the physical versus the virtual.
I definitely agree. I can't wait to to feel good to go to sit down at a restaurant and have a meal and have somebody bring me a beer. I just
Yes. Yep.
Definitely looking forward to that.
I'm with you.
So, anything we didn't get to cover that you wanted to make sure we got out there?
I think just another thank you, Mike. I appreciate the opportunity to continue to help get this message out of how the chamber, our intent of coming alongside of business, supporting them, emphasizing the fact that they are not alone. I'm sure the last 8 weeks can feel like a very lonely situation at times. Not knowing where to turn, where to go to find the right information. Just reminding businesses, of course, we love their support. We are relying upon, we're a membership-driven organization, but even if you're not a current partner in the chamber, we're here to help. We're an inclusive entity that just wants to serve our business community. So reach out. CatawbaChamber.org is our website. You can contact me personally. I'm very easily accessible. Look forward to helping you in any way that I can.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. And I think it was very informative and people will enjoy it. And just so you know, since I'm going to record this, it's the second time I've done this now. So I did a screen record. So if that comes out okay, then I'll post it as a video, and then we'll also do it as the podcast. I can convert the audio from this into the podcast. So
okay.
I can kind of do it both ways. So I appreciate you being on, and
thank you.
And thanks for helping get the word out there. So,
yeah. Thank
all
you.
right.
And
So,
I'll keep you posted on the open and safe link. Like I said, I've got to get that page built this week, but hopefully early next week we'll be able to roll that out. So anyway, but thanks for helping spread the word on that as well.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Well, everybody have a great day. All right, thanks. All right, bye.
Bye.